this was so helpful. I can't tell you, because we were down there, we were probably in the cellar longer than we ever have been in any tornado warning before. Hey everybody, this is Monty and Michelle from Red Dirt Rooster. We just wanted to bring you along on a quick project that we're doing.
Yeah, we're going to try this. We've seen it on Cajun Country Living. They were the ones that we saw this on, the dry pour concrete. Never even thought about it. It's like, I've set hundreds of fence posts over my lifetime and just dump the concrete in the hole and pack it and let it go, and the ground and everything provides the moisture, so we never worried about it. So we're going to give it a try and see how it works here on this approach to the cellar, because Michelle's had some very bad experiences trying to get into the cellar when it's raining.
So stick around with us and we'll bring you along for the process.
Okay guys, we started a little early on this. Actually the other day we actually got out here and built the frame for it. We dug a little bit of a trench around the edges just so that the concrete, the water that runs off won't wash underneath and wash our foundation out from underneath the concrete. So we've done that. We've kind of leveled this up a little bit, and like I said, we're going to try this and see how it works, because we've never done this type of concrete work before. So we're going to see how it works. And
we made the corners thicker because I probably have a tendency of driving our buggy over the corner or mowing, catching it. So we did want the corners to be stronger, but we just used just some scrap wood that we had.
You just need scrap wood, and you don't want to go buy, real good wood for just done stuff that doesn't really matter. So.
Or cut into a big 8-foot 2x4 that can be used for something else. Yeah.
When you only need 2 foot. So the videos that we watched about this, they just used a 2x4 and laid it down flat, so that made it 1.5 inches thick. These I think are pushing right at 2 inches, so this is going to be a little bit thicker concrete. I picked those up the other day, and I think they were 538, 578, something like that a piece. So if we use all 10 bags, we've built a slab here in front of the cellar for $50. And she might give you the reason why we're doing it in front of the cellar.
Yes, we're in Oklahoma, guys. It's just normal to have a storm cellar. And I don't know how many times, especially when our boys were younger, I was trying to gather everything, the bags, the computers, the purses, the kids, the dog, and I'm trying to get them out into the cellar because a storm is coming and we're under a tornado warning. And unfortunately, several times, Monty was at that time working out of town. He was not home. Either way, I would come out to the storm cellar, and typically with so many tornadoes, when you're actually under that warning, it is pouring rain. So more than once, I have come out to the cellar, arms full, pouring rain, under a tornado warning, carrying a dog in bags or kids, and I have to sit down in front of the cellar. I get the door open, you sit down in front of the cellar so you don't fall in because it's pouring rain, and you're just juggling so much in a hurry. How many times have I sat down in a puddle of water it just because for some reason the soil around a cellar for years continues to sink and settle, and you do end up with a little low spot in front of the door, because if you're going to walk around your cellar or get in it, you're standing in front of that door, so it creates a dip. This was absolutely the perfect opportunity and project for this. When I saw it, I immediately said, storm cellar. just that way.
She informed me we are doing this.
Well, it was. How can you not? When we saw this, I was just like, first, and I do have other projects in mind, but it's like, I can't wait. But this was number one. We think we're just, okay, let's get this done because we may be down here a few times. So anyway, I went ahead and I've been trying to pack the sand up against the base of the frame form. So I think we've got everything, and we just did this the other day because truthfully we didn't know how long this was going to take, and we had the time and the opportunity to just knock this out real quick. And we have a chance of rain, a slim chance this evening, so we're probably going to cover this with a tarp. It's going to take several hours of just kind of coming back, spraying it, and then we can go on with what we're working on. Then we just keep coming back. We're going to set a timer. So it should be nice and hard by this evening.
Yeah.
But I think since it's thinner, we could probably take the forms off possibly tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
But it kind of will depend on the weather and the schedules and everything going on this week.
Yeah, because I still have a regular job I have to take care of. So
Yeah, we're working people.
we're going to get started.
Just a word of caution for anybody. Yes, it is prudent for everybody to probably wear a mask, especially if you've got any kind of asthma or respiratory, anything like that. Did you do that part? Yep.
On the screening because you work it back and forth to work the rocks down and the powder up. Right there in your corner. Okay. We ran the edger around off the edges. You don't have to do that. We just wanted to do it because I think it makes it look a little nicer. Next up, you bring out your trusty paint roller. And it doesn't matter what kind of nap you've got. Any of them will work. But this, well, you'll just watch and it'll change the look of this tremendously. And I'm really putting pressure on this. I'm just letting the roller run back and forth.
And I'm really not sure if you can really see how it is just smoothing out all those little dimples that the wood made. And by the way, we did change to wood. That aluminum, in theory, it sounded great. Did not have the weight. I believe that it is needed. Is that what you would say, dear?
Yeah. I make mistakes every once in a while.
Not too often. But this is new for both of us, so.
Yeah. I'm not a concrete man, but I'm used to working with wet concrete. This is a totally new experience here. But there it is. It's not perfect, but
the next step will be misting. Everything we have seen is that once you get to this stage, this rolling out and smoothing, because for whatever reason it just smooths it so well, is that it's the misting, the first rounds of misting, I believe it just it doesn't make any marks in the concrete. So what we see now, I believe, is going to be what we see on the finished product.
yeah. And we stress misting, not spraying, misting.
Yeah, I checked our little handheld waterer, and it does have a mist setting, but I have several that do not have a mist setting, so you would want to check that before you start.
Okay.
Here we go. Can't even see the mist. You can see that it's much darker than where it started. Even up on the cellar itself, you can see how much lighter. And really, there's not much to see now. We're going to set the timer for an hour, and then we are going to come back and mist it the exact same way.
Okay, we're here for, it's been an hour, so we're going to give it another mist. So basically just changing the color.
Hey everybody, this is our third spray, I believe. I think we're going to mist it one more time. Starting to get a little windy. Okay guys, number 4. And I think we are putting it on a cone.
It's in between mist and shower.
Mist and shower. Here we go.
Hey everybody, we're back. It's been a week since we did this dry pour. We let him set up over the week. I was out of town a little bit that time, so that's why I'm going to I think it's going to be good. We're going to pull these forms off, and we're going to see how we did on this. It's, for your information, it's 7 foot by 30 inches, and we used 8 bags of concrete, and those were the 80-pound size. This is a little thicker than what we needed, but that's what we wound up with, so that's where we're at. I think it looks pretty doggone good.
I'm excited. I'm happy with it. Just got to clean up around the edges now and bring in some sand and grass, however we want it.
Yeah. All this stuff to just pull up.
Yeah. We had a pretty good base of sand that we put up over here. So.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You don't have to put sand on these. You don't have to fill the base with sand. We had some sand left over from another project, so we went ahead and did the sand in the bottom of it. Like I said, I've done regular concrete. I've never done dry pour. But
I think it's great. We'll see how it holds up. See how we did. But I think it should work.
yeah, it's got a little bit of slope away from the cellar, and then it's got a little bit of slope off to this side of the cellar, so any water that comes in off of that should just run right on off. And you won't have to sit in a puddle of water to get in the cellar anymore.
So thankful, because we're in April right now in Oklahoma, so we've got May to go, and that's our tornado season. So.
Yep. We'll bring in some dirt, get some grass planted around this, and something else for me to weed eat around. But anyway, that's what we got. I'd say give it a try. If you got a little area that you want to do a drive, you want to give it a try, I'd definitely give it a try. We'll probably do several more of these around here because we've got little places here and there that we need some concrete, so we're going to give it another shot.
Definitely.
Yep.
I already have projects in mind.
Oh yeah, and in the previous, when we were actually doing the screeding and the sawing, I had that piece of aluminum, found out the aluminum was too slick and not heavy enough to basically drive the rock in and the powder up, so we had to switch to a 2x4, and that worked perfectly well. So just make sure you go ahead and just use a 2x4, and it's smooth, and it's not slick. That's the one thing. Yeah, so we should be good shape.
Give it a shot. And hey everybody, this is just an update. This was a project we did a few weeks ago on the dry pour, and I just wanted to update that we actually had a major tornado outbreak come through our area right after we got this done, like within a week. And we had a F3 tornado come. It was roughly about 2 to 3 miles south of us, and then it wrapped around to the east. Anyway, so we had a full night of tornadoes and had the kids and the grandbabies up here, and this was so helpful. I can't tell you, because we were down there, we were probably in the cellar longer than we ever have been in any tornado warning before, because we had about 3 of them coming through in different areas that were on the ground and touching down. The one that went east of us to that town, it was an F2. The one that was south of us, that was so close to us, was an F3. Anyway, back to the pad, our dry pour pad that is in front of our storm cellar. Of all things, Monty was out of town, so he wasn't here during the severe weather, the outbreak. My son was up here, the grandbabies were here, and we had prepared and taken some stuff down into the cellar, but there were always the last minute things. And with that tornado outbreak, the rain and the hail had already come through, which we kind of knew. That's kind of what happens. Sorry for the wind, guys. Anyway, my son came running out from the front door and to get some bags down in here. The tornado sirens were going off, which we can hear them from the town over. And he told me that when he was running out here, pouring down rain and hail, arms full, he literally got to the concrete, and in his mind he went, oh no, it's wet, it's slick, but he was in the process of landing on it. It wasn't. He said, whew, he was so thankful. We left this, it ended up having a very grippy texture. We didn't try to smooth it out a lot. We just did the screeding, I guess is what it's called, and it actually has such, it was just perfect. It is not slick at all. I didn't have the puddles of water standing in front of it. It was it's at just enough of an angle where everything just washed off perfectly. So I just wanted to give you guys such an update. I mean, I was so happy with it. I can't believe we waited so long. And this dry pour project So if you haven't thought about it before, you might consider putting a dry pour in front of your cellar. It is such a great place. At least, if you don't have anything else, it's just the water doesn't pool. That ground naturally over years will still pack down along the sides of your cellar, so you will end up with low spots, more than likely. And we here in Oklahoma, we have very hard clay, red clay soil, red dirt. But so anyway, I was so happy with it. One more tip that we do, or usually I do, and you can see this one. I have this this solar, actually that should be up. This is just a solar light that you have in the yard. What I do when we have storms and we're going to have to get into the cellar, or chances of it, just like the other night, I have a few solar lights in my flower beds. I take those out, and the ones in my flower beds I'm able to actually turn off and turn on. They have a button, and but even if you don't, I take those solar lights and I put a few inside the cellar, so we're not having to use the flashlights, or even a little lantern or something. We do not have electric run into our cellar. That is something I would love to get Monty to do. But the solar lights, they work so good because it just gives you that nice plenty of light without wasting your batteries and stuff, because we were down there longer than we ever have been. So, and we had babies. This was a new one for us, a little bit different. And mental note: put toys down there, put snacks down there. I've had all that stuff, and water, and I use my cellar for storage too on a lot of different things. But anyway, I just wanted to do this update. And I know this was a new thing for us, is to pour a dry pour, and it has worked out so well. Monty has set poles. As a matter of fact, we're building a lean-to, and so he's setting poles, and we've done the dry pour, just pour it in there, and throw a little water on top. And sometimes, depending on the ground, how dry it is or how wet it is, sometimes you don't even have to put the water in, because over time that it will grab that. But we usually try to throw some water on top. Anyway, but this was such a great project. It worked better than I could have imagined, and so to have already had to use it, and also Monty, when we did this, he was thinking he would just do right here in front of the door and leave the dirt everywhere else, and I was like, no, if we're gonna do it, I want the whole thing. I want the whole width of the cellar. And boy, are we glad we did. We came out, I want to say it was 30 or 32 inches from the door. We were running out here, so my son was trying to hold the door. It was so nice to have this bigger landing, this larger pad, which our cellar is 7.5 wide. Anyway, it was just worked wonderful. So I wanted to give you that update, and just, you might put that into your project plans. It's been wonderful for us. So that's all I wanted to do, was just tag this on and give you an update to tell you how pleased I was with it. And since Monty was out of town when we actually had that, he couldn't really experience that with us. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you coming and checking out our channel, and I hope you will come back. Thank you for spending your time with us. Thanks.